Hello everybody, welcome back. In today's video I'm going to be pardon me. In today's video I'm going to be talking about my top 10 favourite black metal albums. These are my top 10 favourite black metal albums, not what I think are necessarily the best. So please don't come at me for, you know, these albums being too basic or not real black metal. I do think they are, but I get why the people might not think that way. I've put on my most black metal-y outfit, and yeah, I think we should get going. So I've been listening to black metal for maybe a couple years now, a few years, maybe a bit longer, but I've listened to it a decent amount. I haven't heard everything, so if you have any suggestions, please let me know. More like I'm not too familiar with the original stuff, you know. Anyway, starting off with, I'm going to show all of the images on my laptop because I can't be bothered to edit. Starting off with Dissection, Into the Light's Bane, or Into the Light, or I don't know. I haven't listened to this album too much, if I'm being completely honest, but I do like it. Very good album. I believe it's classified as like melodic black metal, which I can kind of hear, but that doesn't mean it's not black metal. It's still pretty harsh, pretty loud, pretty fast. I think the vocals on it are really good, but if I did have one criticism for it, and one of the reasons why it's not higher up on the list, even though this is my favourites ever, so obviously I love this album, I just think that the singing on it, the singing parts, can be a bit much, a bit dramatic, which I'm not a very big fan of, but you know, still great. Check it out. I think it's a pretty good place to start with black metal too, honestly, but just because I don't think it's that harsh, but it is harsh. Next up at number 9 is Trhä, with whatever this album's called. I'll be linking them all, but this is not an album that anybody apart from the artist can pronounce. Trhä, aka Sadness, is known for just making up his own languages, and he literally did that. He made up his own language, and he has like a YouTube channel where he breaks down the language. So it is actually real, kinda. But this is an EP. Technically, I still wanted to put it on here though, just because I like it that much. The instrumentals on it are so amazing. In parts, I feel like it's kind of happy in a way. Well, not really, but I like when black metal bands put more than just drums, guitar, bass in their music, and Trhä definitely does that. Things like organs and stuff in it quite a lot, so very varied instrumentation, and it's short, it's only like 20 minutes, so it's really concise, it's really easy to go back to and replay. This is one of the black metal albums that I'd recommend to someone starting out, because maybe it counts more as black gaze, which I think should just be black metal really. I don't think there's really too much difference. But yeah, Trhä, gibberish. Next album. Okay, I couldn't be bothered to put up all the images, so now we're going to be showing the radio music pages for them. This is Excersises in Futility by mgla, mgla. Not really sure how to pronounce most of these names, honestly. Pretty good black metal album. This is always quite high up in terms of popularity of black metal albums, but I put off listening to it for quite a while. I think the album art for it especially is just really sick, and that's kind of what made me get around to listening to it in the first place. Things to say about it, it's not many songs long, but they're all like 7 minutes. I think it's an hour long, and I think there's 7 songs on it. Let me check. 6 songs in it. Yeah, 6 songs. It's not an hour long, it's 40 minutes. But yeah, not many songs on it, but it does feel a bit longer than it really is, and I kind of chalk this up to maybe the instruments just being a bit repetitive, but not in a bad way, really. The drumming on it is my favourite part of it, just how the drums do change up quite a bit on it, which is good. I'm not really a big fan usually, there's exceptions. I'm not a big fan usually when black metal bands will just slam the same like snare drum over and over again for the entire like 8-minute song, and thankfully these guys don't do that. Also, I don't know much about the bands themselves in all of these, so if one of these bands happen to be Nazis, I'm sorry. I don't know. But anyways, moving on is at number, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, this is 5? No, this is a 6. At number 6, we have Blazing Northern Sky by Darkthrone. I believe this is one of the earlier black metal albums to come out, around 1991, so around when like Mayhem and stuff came out, I think. So I don't really know, but it's very, very good, and it sounds really, for lack of a better word, raw. Pretty raw black metal. It's very simple for what it is, just, you know, vocals, drum, bass, guitar, stuff like that, but this band pulls it off excellently. Sounds very dark. It's a very dark album. I just love it because it's not boring, thank God. It does a very good job at holding your attention, just because of how good these guys are. The vocals on it, especially, amazing. I love when the vocals in black metal songs are more kind of in the back, more of a, used more as an instrument than a, you know what I mean, when it's more, with a more mixed kind of low is what I prefer with black metal. Yeah, Darkth. Let me make sure I'm doing this numbers right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, was that the 7th one? Oh, that was number 7. Oh, sorry. Okay. Number 6. Ashes Against the Grain. This cover by AUOR. Very, very good. There's other AUOR stuff that I could have pointed out, but I'm more of a fan of this stuff than the more like folky stuff with like acoustic. Not folky, but stuff with the acoustic guitar I'm not too big a fan of. This is more what I like. This is more my pace. This is one of my favorite ones. Yeah, we're getting into the territory where it's just I love this stuff, and the intro song in specific is, it's amazing is all I can really say about it. It's a, I think 8-minute, 9-minute song, but it starts off with this really somber, it might be guitar feedback, yeah, or like just keyboard, something, and it's really gorgeous, and there's many parts in this album, many kind of bits in this album where it sounds really, really beautiful, and it's very good when black metal has that kind of variety, instead of just being this dark, depressing thing for 40 minutes. It's nice when it feels kind of, when there's some emotional variety, and this album definitely has that. The first song is one of the best black metal songs ever that I have heard. On here, it classifies black metal as being a subcategory, and it says it's more post-metal. I don't necessarily agree, but, you know, written music does what it wants. I still think it's black metal personally. For another issue I have with this album, like I do on the other one, is that there's some portions of singing which, you know, I'm not a very big fan of. I think that it can be a bit over the top. Again, I guess that's why it's kind of post-metal, or kind of, yeah, prog-y. The singing is kind of like, it sounds like something on like a prog metal song, which I'm not a very big fan of, but it's fine. I can look past that and just look at how amazing the instrumentation is. Moving on to number, I lost track, to number 5 is, this came out last year, Hive Mind Narcosis by thantifaxath. Really good album. This is the kind of thing where you kind of have to check it out yourself. Very long songs, multiple sections in it, but it's so like aggressive. That's what I love about this. It's really in your face from the first second that it starts, and it really is hard to lose interest in listening to this. Check it out. Hive Mind Narcosis. Number 4. Teeth, Glory and Injury by Author of Plagues. This is one of the most angry black metal albums I have ever heard. I'd say that it's kind of bordering on noise rock at some points. It's just that loud and aggressive. I don't think it's the most. It is definitely black metal, but it's not the most depressive kind of thing. It's not depressive black metal. It's just very good, straightforward black metal. There's some really good like interlude, spacey, droney bits in it, which I really like. Like at the beginning of the album, it starts off with that. A very good introduction to the album, kind of deceiving in a way, which I like. And we're going to be moving on already into the top. Is it the top 3? Yeah, the top 3. Into the top 3. Liturgy's 93696. Okay, now this is where I think that if you're like a black metal elitist watching this, you're gonna be like, ugh, this garbage. But Liturgy is a black metal band, and there's nothing else I can say. Liturgy is black metal. I don't care. This came out in 2023 and was my favorite album of 2023, 100%. It's Liturgy have been going for I think about a decade now, and this album is it's the obvious progression and needed like album. If they basically, what I'm saying is, if this was their last album, I'd be completely fine with that, because it's 90 minutes, it's everything that makes Liturgy great, just kind of summarized into this long fucking behemoth of an album. What Liturgy I think specializes the most in on this album is actually, even though the songs are incredible and they're long and great, this whole album, it sounds really grand. But what I was saying is, Liturgy, the thing that I think they specialize in the most, and the thing that they kind of perfected to an extent, or just improved on this album, are the interludes on it. The interludes, and I put interludes in air quotes because I think they're more than that. They're amazing. Every single one is gorgeous and beautiful. I actually put all the interludes onto a playlist that I could just listen to, because sometimes I just want to hear those songs, man. Like Daily Bread, Angels of Sovereignty. Just check those songs out if you're not even into black metal, because you'll like those, because they don't sound black metal-y, you know. But we're going to be moving on to number 2. Pasage, dhiver, self-titled. Really good. This is only 3 songs long, but each song's 20 minutes. This is a more, well, it's classified as atmospheric black metal, and it definitely is. It's definitely atmospheric. It's borderline. I kind of listen to it in the same way that I listen to a drone album, like a drone metal album or an ambient album. Just it's a bit more darker. And the reason I listen to it like that is because it's very, very repetitive, and it's very, very kind of like drowned out in its own sound. It's very washed out, is what I'm saying. It's very lo-fi. It sounds terrible, to be honest. The audio quality of it sounds really bad, and I really like that. And in this instance, I don't like when things sound bad all the time, but in this way it definitely works to its favor. Yeah, it is repetitive, and I'll be honest, that's probably where a lot of people aren't going to like it. Some people might get bored, but I'll just say this: if you do get bored to it, I wouldn't say it's an album where you sit down and listen to it like, where's the bangers, where's the riffs, kind of thing. It's just to sit back and kind of just let it soak into you kind of album, and that is why I love it, and it has grown on me quite a lot over the years. I need to check out more of this artist's stuff, honestly. Okay, before we get to number 1, I'll be doing honorable mentions. Number 1, Sunbather by Deathhaven. Definitely like black gaze. I believe this was the album that started like the black gaze movement, that I still think is kind of a lame title. I just called it black metal, but yeah, definitely black gaze. A lot of people would tell you that this isn't black metal. I do think it is, but it's one of the first black metal albums, I believe, that was more focused on being uplifting, and uplifting it is. Very, very pretty songs on here, which is not really common for black metal. I guess that's why people don't call it black metal, because it's not dark at all. It's sad, don't get me wrong, there are parts in it that are quite sad, but for the most part it's very bright. Next honorable mention is another Liturgy album, Aesthetica. I love this album. There's not really much, there is a bit of filler in it, but I like this album more for its kind of hit. I wouldn't say hits, but there's more standout tracks on this than there is on 93696. But as a cohesive listen, it's not the most perfect one, but there are some songs on here that just go so hard, like Generation, High Gold, Returner, Glory Bronze, and they're all pretty short, so it's the kind of thing that you just like slap on a playlist, you know, so I thought I'd mention it. Next up, And Again to the Light by Panopticon. Pretty good, pretty much like a pretty slow burner, I'd say, but give it a chance. Next honorable mention, I Want to Be There by Sadness. Again, another one of the things that's more black gazy. On here they called it just screamo, which I think is kind of stupid to tag with, because I'm pretty sure that just kind of blends in with black gaze. But again, another one of those things that are very uplifting, very atmospheric, very good. Next up, last honorable mention is 200 by Wolves in the Throne. This is another atmospheric black metal album, which means that it's more kind of just listen to it in the background. I forgot to put it on here, but I'm not sure if it really counts, but like something by Sun, I wish I kind of put on here, because they're like drone, but I feel like some parts of it are kind of black metal-y. This is just good. A lot of black metal elitists hate this, I think, I'm not really sure. And number one, my favorite black metal album of all time is Massive Conspiracy Against All Life by Leviathan. There's not much on this, it's kind of weird how this is my favorite, because there's not much on here that makes it necessarily stand out by a lot compared to other black metal albums. The instrumentals on it aren't too varied. It's not something like, you know, Liturgy, where there's like horns, organs, all that kind of stuff. It's just very simple instruments, and it does it insanely well. But the main reason why I love this album so much is just because of just how dark it is, but also it doesn't exhaust you with it. Sometimes an album can be so dark to the point where it just kind of gets repetitive. This is not. This is harsh. This is very brutal. The drumming on it is fantastic. I was also thinking about I'm kind of tied between this and another Leviathan album as a 10th sub-level of Suicide, so I'm kind of my speech is kind of bad right now. I love the album a lot, but I think it's a little bit too, I love it, but it's a little bit too low quality for me to put it this high. This is, in my opinion, an improvement on that album in every single way. Amazing. The vocals in it are fucking insane. They make me want to shiver. There's a specific scream on Made as a Stale Reign of Wrath, like around the 4-minute mark, and that scream is one of my favorite screams in black metal, period. Yeah, check this out. Hour long album, my favorite black metal album. I wouldn't say it's the best place to start with it, but it's really good. It's really, really good. That's what I can really say about it. So those were my top 10 favorite black metal albums. Thank you all for watching. I've been Meddling Me Pony. Goodbye.